Life after 60. Haircuts that instantly lift and brighten your face. You ever scroll through old photos, maybe from a vacation, a birthday, or just an afternoon out, and think, wow, my face looked so much brighter back then? Not because of makeup, not because of good lighting, because of the hair, the way it framed your face, the lift, the softness, that little spark in your eyes. Then you glance at the mirror now, tilt your head, and wonder, I'm still me, but why does everything feel just a little lower? If that rings a bell, you're in good company. Welcome to Glow After 60, where we don't chase youth, we reclaim radiance. We believe in smart, subtle shifts that bring back the lift, the glow, the light in your expression. No drama, no drastic chops. Just better decisions and better mirrors. In today's video, we're talking about the haircuts that can instantly brighten your face and lift your features without a single needle, serum, or awkward ponytail. We'll explore styles that soften the jaw, open up the eyes, and give your reflection a little more, oh hey, there you are, energy. And yes, we'll also take a gently honest look at some common haircut habits that might be quietly working against you. No judgment. Been there. Ask me how I know. Coming up, the classic, easy, and elegant cut that secretly drags everything down. The one-length all-around trap. So let's talk about the classic one-length cut. You know the one. Blunt ends, same length all around. Maybe just grazing the shoulders. It's the haircut we were told was low maintenance, timeless, and great for any age. And it is, technically. If by timeless, they meant it's been weighing down our features since 1993. Here's the thing. Hair after 60 behaves a little differently. It's finer, softer, and sometimes it just gives up by 3 p.m. A one-length cut? It has nowhere to go, no movement, no lift, no face-framing softness. It's like putting a heavy coat on your head and wondering why your cheekbones disappeared. I wore this cut for years, thought it was safe, classic, and let me tell you, my neck disappeared somewhere around 2008. The twist? That single straight line across your shoulders might actually be pulling your whole face downward. It drags the eye across instead of up. Not exactly the lift we're going for. What to try instead? Layers, baby. Not choppy, not wild. Just enough to create shape, volume, and a little bounce. Think soft angles around the cheekbones. A bit of lift at the crown. Something that says, I'm awake and I know what I'm doing. Even if you're just heading to the grocery store. And if the word layers gives you flashbacks to a bad shag from 1987, don't worry. Today's layers are smoother, smarter, and far more flattering. Think less lion's mane, more subtle sculpting. Remember, your haircut shouldn't flatten your features. It should flatter them. Next up, the myth of long hair makes you look younger, and why it might be quietly adding a decade instead. Part 2. When long and flowing starts doing the opposite. Let's get this one out of the way gently. Yes, long hair can be beautiful at any age, but if your hair is long, mostly because you haven't had time to deal with it since your youngest graduated college, well, it might not be doing you any favors. You know that feeling when your hair starts to look like it belongs to a different person than your face? Yeah, been there. My hair was halfway down my back, and I was convinced it made me look more youthful, until someone asked if I was my granddaughter's other grandmother. True story, still recovering. Here's the kicker. After 60, long hair often loses the thickness and shine it once had. So instead of flowing, it hangs. It can stretch out the face, exaggerate sagging, and make everything feel tired. Even worse, it can turn into what I lovingly call curtain mode. Flat at the crown, droopy on the sides, and completely hiding your lovely jawline. But don't panic. You don't have to go short if you don't want to. A great mid-length cut, somewhere between chin and collarbone, can be a total game changer. Add in soft layers or a face framing angle, and suddenly you've got shape, lift, and movement. It's like Spanx, but for your face. And no, cutting your hair doesn't mean giving up. It means choosing shape over length, energy over effort, a fresh start instead of hanging on to what used to work. If you've been clinging to your long hair like a security blanket, you're not alone. But maybe, just maybe, it's time to trade it in for something lighter and more you. Next up, the sneaky danger of playing it safe and how too much polish can actually make you look older. Part 3. When polished and perfect starts looking stiff. We all grew up with a very clear idea of what put together looked like. Smooth blowout, every strand in place. Maybe a little hairspray shellac for good measure. If it didn't move, it must be fabulous, right? Well, not exactly. Somewhere along the way, polished started turning into stiff. I used to think a perfectly set style made me look elegant, until I caught a side view and realized I looked more like a weather reporter from 1986 than the relaxed, modern woman I actually am. Here's the twist. Too much structure can actually age your look. Slicked back styles, heavy curls locked in place, or blowouts so precise they don't move in the wind. They can flatten the face, sharpen the lines, and take away that lovely sense of softness that comes with letting things breathe. Because here's what no one tells you. Movement equals youth. A little bend, a bit of bounce, a soft wave that catches the light. Those small things signal energy, ease, and vitality. So what to try instead? Let it loosen up. Embrace soft texture. Think airy layers, subtle volume at the roots, maybe even a little tousled moment near the ends. Not messy, just lived in. It's less TV anchor, more confident woman grabbing lunch with friends and feeling good about her reflection. And if you're still using the same round brush and roller routine from 1992, no shame. Just maybe let your hair out of its perfect little box once in a while. Coming up next, the overlooked power of the right bangs and why they might be the cheapest facelift you never knew you needed. Part 4. Bangs. The mini facelift you didn't know you had. Now let's talk about bangs. Yes, those tiny wisps of hair that can either make you feel fabulous or like you're back in 3rd grade with a bowl cut and tears in your eyes. I avoided bangs for years. I thought they were too high maintenance, too risky, too forehead forward. But then one day, a stylist gently suggested we try soft, side-swept bangs. And I swear to you, I looked in the mirror and thought, oh, that's where my eyes went. Here's the magic. The right bangs can lift the entire face. They draw attention upward, soften lines around the forehead and eyes, and add this little air of intentionality. Like, yes, I did think about this, and yes, it's working. Even better, they frame the face, especially if you've got a high forehead, or if gravity's been tugging a bit more than usual lately. And no, we're not talking about those heavy, blunt bangs that look like they were cut with a ruler and a prayer. We mean soft, wispy bangs, light side fringe, curtain bangs that part in the middle and flutter just enough to make people wonder if you've had something done. You haven't. but your hair is working overtime. Still unsure? Here's a secret. Bangs grow out fast. So even if you try them and hate them, it's not forever. But if you try them and love them, well, you might find yourself skipping concealer and smiling more often. Just remember, bangs are not a band-aid, but when they're right, they're a brilliant frame for a face that deserves to be seen. Next up, the sneaky mistake of color that's too safe, and why the wrong shade can dull your glow faster than a rainy day. Part 5. The safe hair color that quietly steals your glow. Let's have a heart-to-heart about hair color. Because at some point, somewhere between covering grays and just keeping it natural, a lot of us end up with a shade that's fine. Not offensive, not bold, just there. A kind of polite beige or flat brown that says, I don't want to cause trouble. Here's the truth no one warned us about. That safe color, it might be slowly draining the light right out of your face. I had a phase, a decade, of coloring my hair a perfectly neutral chestnut. It looked good under salon lights, but in daylight, I started to wonder if my bathroom lighting was broken or if I was just permanently tired. Turns out, your skin tone changes subtly after 60. We lose some natural pigment and warmth, and suddenly that hair color that once looked radiant now feels flat, muted, even a little dusty. But here's the good news. You don't need a total overhaul, just a bit more dimension, a few face-framing highlights, a warmer tone that plays nicely with your complexion. Think sunlight on your strands, not marker on your roots. And no, you don't have to go blonde if that's not your thing. Caramel, auburn, soft copper, silvery blends, they can all add life without shouting. The key? Lighten strategically, not all over. The right placement can lift your whole look, soften shadows, and give your face a subtle glow that even a full night's sleep can't fake. So if you've been sticking with whatever covers the gray, no shame. But maybe it's time to think less about covering and more about brightening. Next up, the biggest surprise of all, how the shape at the back of your haircut can change how your whole face looks from the front. Part 6. The back view that changes the front. Let's be honest, we spend 95% of our time looking at our hair from the front, which makes sense. That's what we see in the mirror. That's what shows up in selfies. That's where all our focus goes. But the back is a whole different story. It's the part we forget until we catch our reflection walking past a window and think, wait, is that my head? Here's the sneaky truth. The back of your haircut plays a bigger role than you think. A flat, shapeless back can actually drag your whole look downward. It throws off the balance, flattens your silhouette, and brace yourself, can even make your neck look shorter and thicker. I didn't believe it either, until I saw a photo from behind at my grandson's birthday party. Let's just say I called my stylist the next morning and whispered, "We need to talk about the back." The good news? A well-shaped back doesn't have to be dramatic. Just a little stacking, a bit of lift at the crown, soft graduation that gives the head shape, volume, and a more youthful profile. Think of it like contouring, but for your haircut. It gives structure. It lifts. It subtly changes how your entire face reads, without anyone quite knowing why. And yes, it also makes you look just a little more polished from every angle, even the ones you forgot existed. So next time you're in the chair, ask your stylist to give the back some love. Because aging gracefully doesn't mean forgetting about the parts we can't see. It means choosing to shine from all sides. Coming up, we'll wrap it all up with a few final thoughts, a warm reminder, and one last nudge to keep you feeling fresh, not flawless. So, what have we learned? That aging doesn't dull your beauty, but a flat haircut might. That a few small changes, layers, movement, a smarter color, maybe even a brave little bang, can do more for your face than a drawer full of serums. And most importantly, that you still get to choose. You're not stuck with the same cut you've had for 20 years. You're not obligated to play it safe. And you're definitely not too old to walk out of the salon, catch your reflection, and say, "Well, hello, there she is." At Glow After 60, we're not about chasing youth. We're about finding the version of you that feels light, lifted, and completely current, without losing an ounce of who you are. So if something in today's video made you smile, made you think, or made you want to book a haircut, go ahead and hit that like button. And if you're ready for more beauty, style, and confidence tips that actually get what life after 60 feels like, subscribe and join us here anytime. Because you're not invisible. You're just getting started and looking better than ever doing it.